Lift and Love is a podcast rooted in faith, family, and the conviction that loving LGBTQ plus people is a calling to be embraced, not feared. Across episodes, hosts from the Lift and Love team and their guests address current topics, offer practical support, and share experiences related to LGBTQ plus issues in faith communities. Thanks for joining us on our mission to lift and love. Hello, we're so excited to be here.
Hi.
We have one of our favorite returning guests who...
Thanks.
Yes, and one of our OG moms.
Yes.
I think you were one of our first conversations, you and Miss Haley. Miss Haley
Yes.
Joe.
The
So
incomparable
good.
Haley.
The incomparable.
Smith.
And you two
the
together.
Gorgeous.
Oh.
Well,
I like to call her Haley Joe Smith.
I know. Isn't that, don't you want
It's
to?
so cute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cute like
She's
her.
the best.
I know it. And you two are fabulous parents, and we laughed. We didn't even know each other back then.
Oh, that's
and
right.
we laughed and had such a good time talking about
Yeah.
all of our LGBTQ children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it again.
Let's do
Yes.
But we're all like, what, 4 years down the road, 3 years down the road now?
I think decades down.
it.
Yeah, good point.
Thanks for that.
I meant from when we talked first, but Lots
Right.
of decades.
Yes.
Some of us
Yes.
are in the extra decade even.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited to talk to you.
Thanks
so
for
much
having
wisdom.
me. I don't know about that, but I've got some experience.
You got experience. And my favorite thing is that Lisa makes everything funny.
Oh,
And
well.
sometimes, well, you for sure do. And sometimes we get a little serious
Yes,
about
we do.
LGBTQ people. Either
Yeah.
joyful and fun.
The best.
I
Lots
spent
lots of joy.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just spent the weekend in San Francisco with my son and his boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And those two are the happiest little guys ever. I mean, they're just joyful. They're so much fun to be with. I came home on a
How
cloud.
fun.
I
Yeah.
know.
That's
So,
awesome.
Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Let's do it.
So one of the first things we usually ask parents or mothers is, let's just go way back to the beginning and then we'll fast forward. But when
Okay.
faith and dissonance hit you on this one, what kept you anchored?
Yeah. When faith and dissonance hit me, what keeps me anchored is the things that I know, right? Like
Yeah.
the fundamentals. There's a lot that I think matter or make a big difference. And as I've gotten older and as I've had a lot of those moments for lots of different reasons, it just sort of washes away to the fundamentals. So I am anchored in my relationship with Jesus Christ. I'm anchored in my love for my family and for goodness. I'm anchored in the pursuit of truth and what is true. And that encapsulates a lot of things. I don't think truth is relative. And so those sorts of things have been foundational for me as I'm trying to understand things that don't make sense, which could be the name of my autobiography.
I love that. And you know what? I heard this great quote this weekend, and I'm going to pull it up. Oh, here it is. I heard this great quote. I was at an event with Patrick Mason down in the Bay Area this weekend, and he was talking about how both President Oaks and President Holland said the very same thing
Oh,
that about truth.
yeah.
He said that they both said that scripture are not the ultimate source of truth, but rather manifestation. The ultimate source of knowledge, authority, and ultimate truth is the living God, which is communicated through the Holy Spirit. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Because that's accessible to all of us.
And that's how
Yeah.
it's come to me. Just like, because I worry or I have this,
Yeah.
you know, I have this walking ponderizing thing, or I should say I have this idea that I'm like thinking about for days.
Yeah.
And I'm praying about it, and then the answer comes. And
Yeah.
that's how it comes through the Spirit as I'm reading and studying and working through. But yeah, just
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah, as we're met with so many things that you think, okay, what's the answer? What do I think? Some of those things relate to us as individuals, and some relate to the people that we love, like our children. And that's why I find it so interesting and also very faith promoting that so many general authorities, men, women alike, have said, you know, one of the most important things that you can do is to find out how the Spirit communicates with you. And that is something that I've have tried to express to my children, like, this is what it's like for me, but it may be different for you. And allowing that and allowing the Spirit to work with them instead of trying to control it or manipulate the patterns or just teach one way has become increasingly important to me. Like, to the fact that I wish I could go back and kind of like when they were little express it in a better way.
Yeah.
But, we're always learning and growing it as we're going. It's just like the train is moving and you're trying to do it all as it's going. But to me, that's ultimately comforting and faith promoting.
That, because I think one of the gifts of dissonance is growing your muscle of being okay not knowing the answer. Do you know a lot of questions that the dissonance brings up that I'm still praying about?
Sure.
I don't have an answer, but I love how you're like, but I redirect my brain to what I do know. And what keeps me in the wrestle, right? Like, I do know a loving God. He does speak to me. And he does speak to me individually, and that eventually I will get the answer. I think dissonance is for a purpose. I don't think it's to make our faith harder. I think it's actually to make our relationship with God strong.
I think it's the reality of living in a fallen world, too. Yeah. I meet dissonance everywhere I go. It's my new best friend because it just keeps popping up and won't leave me alone. Things that don't make sense and can be true at the same time it's hard. And I've noticed that people are either comfortable or are in varying levels of comfort, right? Some people are like, oh, I don't know, there's no answer, so somebody just tell me what it is. Or, oh, I don't know, this makes me uncomfortable, so I'm not going to think about it. And then some people who are like, this makes me really uncomfortable and I'm going to like dive down and figure this out and ruminate over it. And I think that there's lots of different ways to do it at different times of your life. Yep. And when you are at a time when you really want to own it and hold it and sit with it of what this dissonance means and how these things can play out in your life, I think that says a lot too about our relationships. If we're able to lean into uncomfortable topics and dissonance and acknowledge them, or if we try to ignore them,
Yeah.
So good. Well, and something you said before we hit record was that a lot of us are really uncomfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so maybe we have the saying, like, we can do hard things. Maybe we could do one like make uncomfortable comfortable again.
Right.
Or I can do
just
uncomfy things.
Or my life is uncomfortable and I'm awkward and uncomfortable most of the time. And maybe that's like my basic state of being, where I think like in a lot of different areas in my life, I think, oh, I don't know if I belong here. I'm going to try to find belonging, but I feel uncomfortable. And I just think that my life circumstances have just given me lots of opportunities to be in rooms and in situations that I am not comfortable in. It's become such a joke to myself. I make inside jokes to myself. It's fine. That it has dawned on me that, some people don't feel this way a lot. And some of the best things that have ever happened to me, though, have come because I have been in uncomfortable situations, honestly.
And me and my husband have been studying lately, like we say this all the time, of Christ was the king of going towards the awkward. Yeah. Like, he was okay going to the awkward person in society, doing the awkward moment. And I think it's a really great pattern for us of redefining what awkward is and what we can gain from it. Because usually the awkward is seeing what we're not seeing, because he saw what we didn't see. And when we are awkward, usually it's a time where it's for us to see things that we normally have a blind eye for. Right?
Yeah.
So I think awkward is something that the more we embrace, the more we are acting like Christ did.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think that it means it's bad or wrong, right? That we should always live in a perpetual state of contentment or peace or happiness. And I know sometimes I fall into that too, right? Like, and I want my kids to feel that way. Like, you just think, okay, are you peaceful? Are you happy? We always say, like, a mother is only as happy as her least happy child. It's the worst advice ever. Because I have 5 kids, and guess what? They're like, listen.
I mean, it's a roller coaster those kids are on. Well, I don't want to be on that roller coaster.
And it sets up that the point of this life is to be happy, or we should all, and if we're not, then something's wrong, instead of like, I can do hard things, or I can push through the awkward, or I can learn through this when I'm uncomfortable with like growth and progression and what that kind of means. And I think too, then we also feed into this idea that it's our responsibility to make everybody else happy and not uncomfortable. And if we make somebody else uncomfortable, then we've done something socially, awkward. And I especially think that when we're talking about our LGBTQ plus children, a lot of times, how many times do we feel like we have to be the protector, or like we have to make everybody feel comfortable when sometimes that might not be truth and that might not be appropriate.
Right.
I love how you said, like, we're not supposed to be happy here, but we are supposed to have joy here, right?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think you could be uncomfortable and still joyful. So in saying that, our next question, like, what does that look like for you in, like, practicing, like, our religious practices? Because sometimes when families have LGBTQ children, they have to adapt and pivot a little bit with how they are practicing our religious tradition. So what does that look like for you guys now? I know you have most adult children right now.
So now all of my children are adults.
She just graduated her last baby.
I'm feeling very tender about this, so I'm going to try really hard not to cry. This, like, how I practice my religion now is by myself, which is, I practice it solo. I have a family. I have 5 kids. My husband is deceased. I have friends and things, but I go to church by myself. I read the scriptures by myself. I go to the temple by myself. I really which is so weird because our faith tradition is so community. It's family,
so
family, everything. And I have been transitioning for a while now to this kind of religious practice. And I have been desperately looking for the joy in it too. Yeah. Because I believe that it is joyful. And I don't want to be like, look at me, I'm the poor widow sitting by myself. I don't want to be like that. Yeah, and also that's not how I feel in my heart. So it's like a really good question for me, because it makes me like accountable to myself, because the gospel, I really do believe what Elder Karen said about, like, this is the gospel of joy. Like, if we are not creating joy, if this is not the good news, we're missing something fundamental. And so I have found actually, like, going to the temple is different for me now, and it reminds me that, like, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is the structure within the whole human family, and this is the work and the glory of our heavenly parents, so they're not going to get it wrong. And so that has helped me. And also, I have the great privilege of being the primary chorister.
Oh, wow.
Me too.
I don't
most important calling. That's the most important calling in the primary.
I just don't think that was a coincidence at this time of my life, where I would be like going to church and worshiping by myself, that I would have this calling. And I go with these kids and we sing about the fundamental doctrines of the church. We sing about Christ. I am moved to tears. I feel the Spirit so strongly. They feel it with me. We are doing this together. It has been a transformative experience for me. It really honestly has. And it's brought me so much joy. And so it has come for me in unexpected ways. Because now I'm not a mother trying to set a good example. It's just purely like, this is how I choose to live my life and develop my faith. So it has changed, and I do feel more joyful and at peace.
Totally.
Lovely.
And I love
beautiful.
the theme this year and the songs that go along with it. I will walk with Jesus.
Yeah.
Close as a quiet prayer. I mean, these are things that they're going to be able to pocket and take with them the rest of their life when they're sad, alone, scared.
Yes. And I know that. And that retention too, because I studied education, that retention for music is 100%. So here I am, like almost an empty nester, really, thinking, I wish I could go back and parent my children, all 5 of them, we're all different. But to be able to say, I don't know what these little kids, I don't know what they're going to grow up and have to face, or what their faith journey is going to be, or what their life's going to look like. And now I know a lot more possibilities than I did, 30 years ago.
Losing their dad. Let me ask you, particularly as you're talking about that, how would you parent your children if you knew one of them would be LGBTQ? I know you have more than one. You have 2. But what would you have 3. That's right. You have 3. What would you pack into their little hearts
I think, if I could show some grace to myself, I think I would do it the same. Like, I look back and there's nothing that I said but I did hold a little too closely to a prescribed traditional covenant path, where now I have an understanding of what the covenant path really means. And that deeper understanding, I wish I would have expressed more freely. I know I said that, but I think I was like, oh no, I want you all to go on missions and for all to look like this. And instead of saying, oh, this may look different, or there's a different expression, there's lots of different ways that you can live a covenanted life and what that means. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hindsight is hard.
Hindsight is
good,
hard.
But I'd love to hear what you do now, because some of my children are doing a different covenant path than I thought they would, what it would look like, right?
Yeah.
So I think other moms would feel very valuable how you stay connected to them, you just keep direct them to Christ without hitting them over the head with it, right? Like, how do you stay
with the
supportive?
You don't want to hit them with the church manual.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
do
how do you, like, what advice would you give now with the adult children as they're using their agency and respecting their agency? How do you show up?
What it looks like for me is real respect that's reciprocal, right? We speak to each other very respectively. We are very close. I try to have a real relationship where I'm interested in the things that they're interested in. I'm interested in spending time with them without any agenda. And it's just my hope. It just kind of always has been that my words and my actions and what I believe is expressed through how I am. So if I really believe in the unconditional love of Christ and the power of the atonement and the power of covenants, then I keep them and I do them and I try really hard. And I repent. Like, that all has to do with me, and that doesn't have to do with them. But I do hope that I reflect or shine some sort of point back to Christ. When we gather together, I pray over them. We have family prayers. Still, I want them to know that I pray for them like I always have, even before they were born, that nothing like that has ever changed, nor will it change. I talked about us as a family unit. I talk about their very openly. I talk about their father who has passed away, and I talk about our beliefs and our hopes and the surety that I have that he still lives, and because of Christ, and that's where my concern for my children come. And so it's really just, I mean, we all know this, right? Like, it's just, we only have control over ourselves, you know, and I don't want control over my children. I want them to choose good things. And so I ask them about that, and I ask them about their spiritual life. And for all of them, they're trying to figure it out, and I encourage them to figure it out. And I express more trust in them, and I express more trust in Christ to relentlessly pursue them, you know?
Yes.
I try to really believe it, because I do believe it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
I love this because I think sometimes when we get so, like you said, prescribed to what that covenant path looks like, we miss the amazing show in front of us. And I guarantee if I was witnessing your children's lives, there's so much good they're doing and
they're
being
so
in the
good.
world.
Yes.
And I think sometimes as parents, because have so much expectation pain of what it should look like, we miss the amazing show that's happening. And I think that is the advice I give, is like, if it looks different than you have, like, process that grief, but then pivot very quickly to like focus on what they are doing well and how they are bringing, because anything good in the world is Christ. So focus
all
on the
things
good.
come from Christ.
Yes,
totally.
I feel that sometimes at first, maybe like I would be hesitant when they were younger, like point out their spiritual gifts for fear that I thought that they would think that that was manipulative, you know? But now I don't hesitate at all. I recognize their spiritual gifts and their sensitivities, because they all have different ones. And I point them out to them all the time. I'm like, I see that you are like this. This is so Christ-like. And I just have noticed that through your whole life. And I try to point it out and tell them that. And, you know, they don't ask for, you know, blessings and things like that I feel like would really benefit their lives. So I just try to offer those to them.
That's exactly what our heavenly parents would be saying to them. You know, like, look at who you are. Look at the good you're doing, right?
So
They
I
would
just
be
want to
focusing
remind
on all
them.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. I love
And
that.
tell them, and I tell them how proud I am of them and point it out, so that they don't just think, well, the only way to please my mom is if I perform being an active, you know, member, and what that looks like. Whereas they might hide it what they really think or the struggles or the things, just to appear a certain way, just to please me. I'm very sensitive to that of like, no, I really want to know you as a person and what you struggle with. And that doesn't have a reflection on me. This is me being interested in you and in your spiritual journey, because I'm interested in all aspects of who you are.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. I visited my son in San Francisco and he was with his partner, and I came home and I was just on this cloud. Even yesterday I was talking to somebody about it, and that joy comes from the Spirit, that like
it does.
from the Savior, like this child is good and your relationship is good and he's loved in our family, he's going out and doing good things in his universe, his world, and his partner is a good person. He has no faith practice at all, his partner, and they'll figure it out. They're going to figure out what that means as life gets trickier.
Yeah.
And because it does. And we all hold on to our religion, our beliefs loosely and tightly, just kind of depending on what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And if they need to find another way, they will. But I just had this joy for days after I came home. It was like just clouds and happiness. And I thought, this is only from God, just letting me know that everything's okay and that he's watching over them and our relationship is good.
I think that the kids that come to us were meant to come to us.
Yes.
And
100%.
I don't think that it was random. And so I think that those whisperings of the Spirit that come to me of what to say and what not to say, that I take that very seriously and say those. And so on one occasion, I think about the marriage that I had with my late husband. And I think one of the principles that I think brought us together in a way that you can't really overlook, or I can't overlook, is that we prayed together and we had a spiritual element to it. And so I have shared that with my son and his partner of saying, invite God into your relationship and ask for help and in communicating and for love and for blessings. And you can ask for that, and you can take any good thing and follow it instead of sort of this all or nothing kind of, they've rejected me or I've rejected them or this faith or whatever, all or nothing. And I just think, no, you can still read the scriptures together. You can still what do you want to do? And so I make it like, I don't want them to ever think that they are disqualified from approaching their God in thanks, in asking for something, or that is just, it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
No,
because I think
I love it.
Part of us teaching our children well is teaching them the why behind it, like why your husband, like what it brought to you, And I mean, I said the same thing to my son. I go, you're probably not comfortable coming to our church right now, but there's many churches you probably would feel comfortable with your partner. Like explore it, because like that is such a foundation for your dad and I, and that does, when things are rough, really help us in our marriage. And so I think that's such a great teaching thing, Lisa, of like, look at like the good fruit from the practice of whatever you're, if you're in the church right now, those beautiful things like go in the temple together and things like that.
Yeah.
And if they can't do it or it doesn't feel comfortable, how can they create that in their life and help them?
Yeah. And I think that like as moms, we're making space in our for everyone, right? Like I feel like I want to love on all my community and my neighbors and all this. And so I want to invite them to saying, you're welcome to come. Like, I want you to come to church. My primary kids are singing. I would love for you to hear. I would love for you to be a part of this, or without the expectation that, you don't know where your kids are all the time, no matter who they are or what their sexuality is or not. So these universal parenting things still apply. And I think sometimes in moments of uncomfortableness, we exclude for fear of making ourselves or others feel uncomfortable. And maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe we could just feel a little uncomfortable and just say, you're invited. Or why don't you try this? Or I want to know what you think about this. It might not be what I think, and that's okay. Let's have this conversation. Yeah. Because something deeper from it may come, and I might have an opportunity to tell you something that you needed to hear, and you might have an opportunity to tell me something that I needed to hear. And I feel like that human connection is awkward and uncomfortable, and we can't be afraid of it because deeper understanding comes from that.
I
really think
100% agree.
Yeah, that is what the gathering is all about. We talk so much right
think
now,
so.
but human connection is really what we could replace gathering with human connection and connecting with each other on our brother sister level.
And it's so needed. And I really take what President Nelson was saying, like, this is gathering Israel. I remember when he first started saying it, and I was like, this seems like, I don't know. And now I was like, what does that even mean? And then the more he taught about that his whole life, I was like, yes. And I felt the spirit of it. And I was like, yes, that is what I can do. And I want to do it. And so I feel like, especially as a mother, then this is the part where I cry. Like, I invite, right? I invite.
Yeah.
And I think mothers most closely reflect Christ's love, that kind of love
Totally.
that is all encompassing, that like our bodies can't even hold it all in. There's so
No.
much love. And so I feel like I can be more bold about that, of inviting. You belong. You come and sit by me. We're going to do this together. We do life together. We don't do it separately. Even when we're different, especially because we're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you talk about how you take this seriously, the spiritual promptings that you have. And I think we should, as women, take ourselves and the guidance we're given spiritually, and we should take that seriously. We should go out in the world to do it. So you are a very high profile, fancy LDS woman.
Am I a fancy LDS woman?
Famous,
Wow.
yes, paparazzi.
I'm a fancy LDS woman.
Yes, you are.
Go on.
And no, lots of people know who you are and are watching you, and even like closer to home in your ward. And although I know some lovely people in your ward, but sometimes we get a little pushback for being boldly doing the thing we know we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so the question is, like, how do you manage that? How do you handle that in your life?
Are you saying how do you manage the judgment?
Yeah, that I went way around.
I like
know.
it.
Should I
No,
clip it?
I like it. I like how you said that, because it's a process. I mean this with so much love and respect. Okay. I'm a woman of a certain age. And here's what
I love this already.
This is what I really think about the judgment, of others, and why, you're doing this or that, or like, this is how I feel. And this is from my father. I don't care. It's been beaten out of me in life. I just don't care.
I think it's the gift of being in your 50s, personally.
I for surely do.
I'll tell you, since I was a little girl, I've been dealing with this, like a little girl, where I was like, I feel like this person is judging me because and it's both sides. I'm too Mormon-y, or I'm not Mormon-y enough. You can interpret that however you want. Like, you're not doing things right, or like, you're way too orthodox, or whatever it is. Like, I've been accused of everything from that since, like, I remember some very, very pointed, like, in grade school, like, being told and being like, trying to make sense of that.
Totally.
My whole life. And it's just because of a lot of reasons. Maybe I'll write a book about it one day. No, because of a lot of reasons, I can't care anymore, because it's too hard, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, people's judgment about that. I mean, there's a handful of people whose opinion I really care about and who I seek behind closed doors and say, okay, hey, am I off on this or not? Like, tell me what, because we can't all go rogue. Because we live in a society and we need rules. But
I hate that part.
And I wish that more of us, I wish I could give that to everybody. Like, you follow the spirit, you do the best you can. None of us are going to get it right 100% of the time. I don't get it right 100% of the time. But at least I'm trying. And it hasn't immobilized me. That fear of being awkward, uncomfortable, saying the wrong thing. Like,
but you figured out the magic formula, because what you're really saying is you've stopped judging them, because judgment is a 360.
Yes.
And so when you stop judging them, that is when you're finally free of judgment.
Totally.
Like, you get to be wrong about me, or I might be doing it wrong.
I don't
whatever
know.
you think, like, you get to keep, but I'm not going to judge you for whatever you're thinking about. And that is the key.
That is good.
When somebody is judging another person, and I still do it too, I'm human, it says more about what you are dealing with than this other person you don't know. Like, not a lot of people know who I really am, like,
Yeah.
and so those people that do, that's whose opinion I care about that. But that I said, we're all working things out in our own way. And I feel like when people judge, they're lashing out because they're trying to figure out what they think. And I just think that's none of my business. Yeah. Don't drag me into that.
Yeah, please.
I got enough problems trying to figure out myself.
But this is it. And,
and no one ever changes because they feel judged.
No.
It's not effective.
They may go into themselves. They may pull away from us. But they're not going to change what they're doing. Yeah, I love this because in the beginning I thought, wow, as these moms just realize the beauty of their children, these LGBTQ children, and we understand the gifts that they bring.
Yeah.
There's a great Christian song that, I will testify. You know that song? I'm not going to sing it.
Oh, I think
I'll testify of love. You know what I mean? It's this, I'm going to pull it up because I get to edit.
I love this.
I know.
Who sings it, Allison?
I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah.
It's Love. It was a 1990s, like, gospel music huge hit. Mm-hmm. And Ty Herndon, Michael Passon, and a woman named Melissa. But Ty, the guy who sang it, and I think wrote it, came out as gay. And he got kicked out of the band. And so he couldn't sing the song. But this week he re-recorded it with these three people. And I mean, this was like the gospel song of the 90s. And he re-recorded it, and there's an LGBTQ choir behind it, and he took it back and sang it. And I love that. We would have missed without his experience, even when he was younger, we would have missed that song, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah, put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, I will for sure.
What a great example of, say, when we dismiss any group of people, but maybe especially LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters and
siblings
in Christ, we are missing out on their gifts and talents that were intended to gather Israel. It's so ironic. The very thing that we are trying to do, we need them. We need all of us.
And I thought these moms would stand up and testify for their kids, and it's really hard. It's very hard to stand up in a community that you feel like you might be judged and just say, look, this is what I've learned from my child. Yeah. This is the beauty of being a parent of an LGBTQ child. This is what I've learned from having a child that's been marginalized. Yeah. Like, there's so much goodness there. There are scriptures and scriptures worth of goodness there, of understanding that. And that's what happens when we take ourselves seriously, and we take the Spirit seriously, and we testify.
Yeah. And we invite others into the process, and we assume the best. That's what I've done in my local congregation, assuming the best, assuming that other people are going to still love my kids and still invite them and they have.
Yeah.
They have. So
but I think that's a lot of power in how you've set, like what I see with other moms is if you set the tone of like, oh no, we love and support this child, and there is a place in the pew for when my child visits, I'm bringing my child, because same thing in our community where last time my son came to visit, he gets in the car and he's like, I forget how much I'm loved here.
Yeah.
And
what a great thing to say.
Oh. Yes. And I was like, oh, I love that he feels loved in these walls, because that's not every LGBTQ child's experiences. But I think as a mom, you have a lot of power in that, because how you talk about your child, how you talk about the gift of that child and your experience of that child, people will then follow that lead. That is what I have found.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And I love that. I mean, that's what we do best. We love people.
And if I can quote Haley Smith, who was...
Oh, would you please?
Who we love.
We're going to have to get her here.
We love it a 10. We don't turn it down. We love it a 10. And I love what Sister Tammy Runya always says, is that she who loves the most for the longest wins. And I just feel like those sort of echoes resonate with me of, oh, this is why I love this gospel, and this is why I worship by myself. Because I'm looking for this community, and this is where we maximize our efforts together, and this is the way that it's supposed to be.
Totally. I mean, that's the body of Christ, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And Lisa, I even question your thought where you're not by yourself. Especially you have so many angels on the other side.
By myself.
Yeah. But you have a whole team on the other side where they are relentlessly pursuing you and your children and creating miracles, especially your husband. And so I think it's important to realize none of us are by ourselves. We are not. This is such important work. This is the work, right? The salvation of our brothers and sisters, our siblings. That
well, I just think it's true.
Help. Yeah,
we can have feelings about it, but I just think it's true.
I do too.
It's so true, and every single one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every single one. I love it. Oh, you are a hero.
You're doing it right.
You guys are too nice.
No,
you're too nice. No.
And
listen,
it's like
doing it awkward.
Doing it awkward.
But I think that is what support looks
Fancy
like.
LDS lady.
Right there,
That's
babe.
who you are. Because we end with really what does support look like specifically now, because, you're years and years after your child has come out. But I think you answered it. You got to be okay to be awkward and bold. And meet your children where you're at. Like, don't fake it, but really be interested in a relationship with your child, whatever they're at.
And to be really truthful about what it's really like. It's an honor to be my children's mother. It is my honor that it is my blessing. So
if everyone knew how much it
know,
changed your heart and your mind and the way you see the gospel and
the best
others.
kids. I have the best kids.
I agree. Yeah. I think you do. And I know that this has changed me. And I mean, that's what the Lord wanted.
Yeah.
To change me.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. And he's just, our heavenly parents want us to be new and to understand where they're coming from. And
and care about the right things and not care about things that don't matter.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So fun to talk to you. Find all episodes of the Lift and Love podcast and so much more on our YouTube channel and anywhere you listen to podcasts. To learn more, visit liftandlove.org, where you'll find links to donate, volunteer, and to shop our store, where all proceeds go back to run the many Lift and Love programs. Thank you for everything you do to lift and love.